All right. So last time we spoke more on the technical side, where, from a user point of view and blockchain basics, etc. Today I want to speak a bit more from the, let's say, entrepreneur point of view, a bit about my story, a bit about the challenges, opportunities, about blockchain ethics. But first I actually want to ask, do any of you here, are any of you here founders of a blockchain company? Anyone is building something there? Are any of you here intending to or wishing to now in the next years or in the future to have something like that, to build something of your, is it in, yeah. Okay. Because actually listening to stories is quite important because DeFi is quite a fascinating space. It has its, let's say, pros and cons, and certainly has more pros than cons, but still there are quite unique challenges that are faced in the DeFi space that are quite unique to it practically. So, all right. So we actually started in 2021. At the time, I was, if you remember, the start of COVID when everything was closing. And I had been in the crypto space for quite some time. I had built up a bit of a network. But I never got to really start what I wanted. And in early 2021, me and a few friends of mine, we started a Telegram group. And this Telegram group was simply 20, 30 people at first that either got scammed or got rugged or honeypotted or whatever. And and we were just helping people out. So me and my friends had a bit of more knowledge, and we started telling them what to do, what to check out for. And this is something we can have further talks in the future about for those that are new to the space, what to look out for in crypto. And yeah, this group quickly grew. Became 200 people, then became 1,000, then became 20,000. So it kind of went quite out of control for a while. And during this time, we realized more and more what the space is lacking. DeFi is a mess of scattered tools. It is... I've explained even to some friends here, it reminds me a lot of the 1990s when we had the mobile, we had the internet on the computer, we had, the calculator in our bag. So there were good technological products out there that we need in daily life, but they were so spread out. And you need a dozen of different tools to do something. And DeFi right now is in that state. We've actually had VCs that we're talking to right now, part of our raise and everything. And they actually admitted, the VCs themselves admitted, we created a mess in 2021. By investing millions without even checking stuff and into silo tools, we created a mess of tools that people don't know where to start. We actually had 2 VCs that said that. We're like, okay, you just did the pitch for us. So, yeah, that's how we started. And that is the Telegram group there at the start, 56 members. And that quickly grew. And as we're in this group, we realized more and more that this problem persists. That is where we decided to start building Sonar. Now, before we get into what is Sonar and everything, I don't want to get too much into that, at least not for now. What are the opportunities? I want to talk today more about what I have faced. So today is not about giving you facts or information or this is like it is, but it's more like what I have found through my experience. So if you intend to do something, if you are doing something, you can relate or you can understand it beforehand. So DeFi is quite a fascinating space. It's fun, it's exciting, it's pretty fucking crazy sometimes, especially when you look at the meme culture. There are less barriers, so anyone can get in. It doesn't depend on who you are, what you are, where you are. I started my business in the bedroom. It's less bureaucratic. You can get quicker to success. It's much more efficient. There's also the tokenization aspects, which allows you to create value, okay? Which allows you to create a system which is catered to your needs through the tokenization process. There's the hype and the reward of that hype. People hype like bloody crazy when it's something good. And you can get there, and this relates a bit to the fact that you can get where you want quicker. The hype aspect quickens that. the events and communities. I mean, we're here in Crypto Hub. I met all of you that I met. I never knew you before I got into the crypto space. So the fact that there are events like these, conferences, I'll be in Paris next week, I'll be there, I'll be in Dubai, like these kinds of things, even weekly, local stuff. You meet a lot of people. So that's a beautiful part of this space. I've met, thousands of people, and many have become my friends. The concept of being a pioneer. People in the space seem to forget how small the space is, okay? DeFi is tiny. If you look at the numbers, there's a few million people out of many millions that are in crypto, which is only like 3% of the entire financial world. So the DeFi space is tiny. And that is why it doesn't make sense that everyone is building in a siloed manner, that everyone is building in the scattered manner, because they're trying to target this little market on their own, competing, when it's like fighting in a bubble, right? It's like you're in a little balloon on your own, and there's the entire world out there, and you're trying to fight inside that balloon. That's how small DeFi is, and it's the wrong approach by a lot of projects. So composability, the ability to partner with people, that's how we go big. That's how DeFi will expand. So, for sure, if any of you are intending to do it, but do it well. Because even though it's a different space, it's a quicker space, you can easily fall into the, how will I say it, into the habit of trying to skip steps. I've done it as well. I've made that mistake, trying to skip steps to get there quicker. But in reality, there's a lot of things that you need to do anyway. If you're trying to build a business, make your business plan. Don't go on your computer and launch a token. So build, because after a month or two, it may go well. But after a month and two, you realize that if you haven't built a sustainable plan, okay, you won't get where you want to be. What are the challenges? There's quite a few challenges. I know it's a bigger list. It doesn't mean there's more cons than pros. It's a bigger list because it's something which you look out for, so it's important to mention. Regulatory uncertainty. You mentioned it, Ferris. One of the biggest problems I have personally faced is getting the hang of regulation. And we've wasted money on it. Like, okay, you incorporate here, then after a few months, no, this is the wrong decision, and you end up incorporating there. Then some people tell you need this license, then you know what, some things change, and the government thinks it shouldn't be like that, so get the license somewhere else. It's something you have to plan for, it's something you have to set aside funds for. It's very important, and it's something which can change in the bat of an eyelid. The government can come. Now, with MiCA, Europe will become a bit obviously more stable in that regard. But still, even if you're regulated in your country, and this is something people forget as well, you can be as regulated as you can in Malta, let's say. It doesn't mean that you can offer your services in America. As you know, DeFi is worldwide, and you're trying to cater to people worldwide. It doesn't mean that legally you can cater to people. And in fact, you end up sometimes excluding clients from your product from certain countries because of it. So yes, that is quite hard on a startup. When you're a corporation, it's different because you can afford to get, I'll put $1 million on the best lawyer that there is, and they'll fight for it, and they're not gonna, suffer in the meantime. But for a startup, it is a big step. Community pressure. This, I think, is the hardest one, in my opinion. If you're launching a project, especially a B2C, or especially if it involves the tokenization aspect, you have to be ready to work day and night with the community. Without the community, DeFi is nothing, your project is nothing, okay? But that also involves a lot of community work. It means that you have to have people, so you have 24 hours with the chats ongoing, especially if it's time for some updates and everything. As you might know, the ones that are in DeFi already, that hype thing and everything, you have to be ready. It's not something that one person can easily do, okay? It's a lot of planning. Some things that you know for sure, security risks, scammers, everything. When you are the owner of a project, you get targeted much more. So you have to be even more secure, okay? Finding the right partners. Well, this is interesting as well. As I said, the space is small. When you're looking, let's say, for investors, right? There's already a big percentage that don't want to touch crypto as of yet. They're increasing. But even more than that, finding the right partners that are in line with your values, in line with your ethics, the quickness, the speed of which you can get money in crypto blinds some people, some partners, some potential partners, some businesses in a way that that's the only thing they see. And you have to be very careful because you can make decisions on partners which can easily, practically fuck you in the short and medium term, not even the long term. Talent acquisition, again, it's a small space. Now it's growing. I think this is becoming less of an issue. In the past 6 months, 1 year, I've seen a big improvement in this regard. Market and interest volatility. This is something I really want to talk about. The charts, you know how they go, right? They go here, they go up there, then they get a big dump, then they go up again. But it's not just the charts that do that. Retail interest in this space does the same thing. When I was looking at like users, for example, users of products in the depth of the bear market, like a year ago, was it? Yeah. Users were so low, and that's why a lot of companies failed, because you get blinded in the bull market. Oh my God, I have so many users, I have so much revenue, I have so much everything. It's going to go well. As soon as the bear market starts, interest goes down pretty quick, much quicker than other markets outside of crypto, okay? And if you don't have a proper plan to deal with the worst case scenario, the worst case scenario always happens in the space, just the same as the best case scenario. So the blockchain space, in my opinion, as always, offers you the best case scenarios, much quicker success, much more people, much more hype, much more money, but it also offers you the worst case scenario always, right down there. So if you don't use the good times to make up for the bad times, you won't survive. And I mean, we struggled a lot to survive as a startup, a lot. And we only managed to survive in that bear market because we had planned for it during the last bull market. In fact, I did a bit of research myself. I don't know, I'm a bit of a math geek sometimes and statistics geek. And I literally spent a couple of days running through all the projects that I knew about from 2021 and saw what they're doing today and just checked the timelines and everything. And I found that about 99.2% failed, which is crazy. We see the ones that hype on Twitter and, oh my God, it's pumping so much. But we forget that that's part of the 0.8% that survived. I mean, I did a sample of about 300 projects, I think, so it's not a small number. It's pretty crazy. So always plan for the bear market, not just in terms of price of your assets, but also in terms of users. How can you keep the users there during a bear market? Toxic, greedy environments. This is something that sometimes happens in the space. As great as the crypto and blockchain environment is, again, it offers the best and the worst, okay? When there's money involved, it presents the best, the most innovative people that are enticed by getting rewards, but it also entices the worst of people. So you have to be ready for that. Short articles, I think this is obvious, is brought about by the fact that you can make quick success. So getting partners that are looking at the long term is harder in the blockchain space. So we've talked to I don't know how many VCs, venture capitals, and all of that. And you realize the difference between the ones that are really crypto native and the ones that have transitioned in from the other markets. And when you talk to the ones that have been here for some time, they will ask you, okay, what's your 5-year plan? How do you intend to do this and do that? And, you know, a lot of crypto native ones immediately, what will I get in 3 months? So that is one of the major challenges we face, especially in the bear market, of getting partners that are looking at the longer term. Like, man, 3 months doesn't make sense to look at 3 months. You have to look at 6 months. 6 months is the minimum when you have something. A year and a half. Social media noise. To get brand awareness, you have to market. And as you know, the crypto Twitter space and all of that is very, very noisy, especially with the meme coin culture. It has gotten extremely noisy, and you have to be really smart on how to find a way to overcome that and show your name out there at a cost which is affordable to you. Scalability issues. This again relates to the fact that you can grow very quickly. So it's happened to us. This is something from personal experience, where in 2021, we're growing so fast that we couldn't keep up. We did not expect it. So especially when there's tokenization involved and the hype around people making money, you can go from 100 people, 100 users, or 100 holders, whatever, and you can go to 60,000, 100,000. And if you're not prepared to scale to that, at least have a plan. You'll suffer, because in other markets it grows. It can still grow up. If you have a great product, even outside of crypto, it grows fast, but not nearly as fast as it can grow in this space. So you have to really be ready to scale. Lack of data. So this is actually a good thing about DeFi, that you don't have to give your data to everyone. And it's something which is great about the DeFi space. However, as a builder, as the owner of a business, you have to be prepared to see how you will get certain data, not personal data, which goes against our concept, but, for example, polls. As you know, marketing and everything, you need data to be successful, you know? You need target markets and all that. But in DeFi, we don't ask for your personal data. So you have to be prepared from beforehand how to make some polls, understand what the market is, without obviously asking for that personal data. This does make it harder. When you're Facebook, you put your name, the address, nationality, blah, blah, blah. They have all that data, which I don't like, but at the same time, it helps them a lot as a business. So it's something to be prepared about, okay? So that was a bit of, the let's say, challenges and opportunities that I see. I really encourage you to. If you intend to do something in this space, please do. And even if you're not, I encourage you and I implore you to search for the right projects, be part of them, because one of the most important things in this space is network, okay? If there's one thing I have learned in the crypto space is the importance of network. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, guys. I mean, everyone says that network is so important. But in this space in particular, there are... I'll give you an example myself. So you're launching a token, okay? You need to go on Launchpads, you need to go on exchanges. And you need to go through the same group of people that are... there are not many options. There aren't 1,000 different options which you have to go through. You need to go through 3, 4, or 5. So having the right network, sadly, is something which is completely necessary. There's the advantages of that. You make friends, you get ideas, and you can build with anyone. My team, okay? I've got one guy living in Spain, the other in Italy, the other in Thailand, others in America. You can become best of friends and builders together from all over the world. So, yeah, I encourage you to. If you have any intention, please do it, but always be careful. The second part I want to talk about, which is kind of related, is the ethics and responsibility. And this, I think, is a part which concerns me a bit. Because, again, with the speed that you can make money in this space, we can easily be overcome by greed and by forgetting the basic concept of what blockchain is about, okay? So, the basic concept of decentralization, of being your own bank, of financial inclusion. If you look at the meaning of financial inclusion, is the effort to make financial products and services available and affordable to all individuals and businesses. So, for example, my CFO, Mike, he's American living in Spain. He spent about 20 years working in Asia. He was working in Vietnam, he was working in Laos and all of that. He built his own NGO. And anyway, he was helping coffee farmers through blockchain. He built like a supply chain. Was helping farmers getting what they're owed practically. So the money that goes to these farmers for the work of coffee and stuff like that was getting lost in corruption and bonuses and everything. And these farmers were ended up with, let's say, $5 a day. And by using the supply chain, using blockchain, they managed to increase the profit that these farmers make, that these families make by a lot, by thousands of %. So from $5, I don't know, $50, simply by using blockchain to eliminate all the bureaucratic steps in the middle that lose a lot of money to corruption and all of that bullshit. So if you look at these kinds of communities, okay, these are communities that Sorry. These are communities that a lot of them don't have access to banking. They are suffering from inflation. They are suffering from poverty and everything. But most of them do have access to a mobile and to the internet. It's the most basic thing that these people search for usually. They don't have a computer at home, but they have a simple mobile with Wi-Fi. So that means that using blockchain, we can give access to financial freedom to everyone in the world, including in the poorest of areas, in the poorest of countries. And this has to be a part of our ethical responsibility as pioneers in the space. Because if we're not building something that goes along the lines of what Bitcoin is, what crypto is, we're just going to find short-term solutions. And that is where I'm a bit not a big fan of this meme culture. I understand the fun of it. And there's nothing wrong with being a part of the fun a bit. But as a builder, I really feel the need to follow this ethical responsibility. In fact, if you look at the top countries that are adopting crypto right now, I think you can notice that a lot of them are countries that are suffering from the same things I said right now. Countries that are either suffering from their national currency going, losing a lot of its value. Countries that are suffering from lack of access to banking, lack of access to opportunities. Most of the top ones are these types of countries, as you can see, and it's massive. I mean, if you look at the crypto adoption in these countries in terms of user base, in terms of users, in terms of holders, it's massive. So what can we do to help these people onboard a lot? So I'll tell you how we saw it at the time, okay? So when we had this Telegram group and everyone was asking us questions because there was no access to education, they were asking, okay, how can I do this? How can I read this? What tool should I use to, I don't know, what charts, whatever. And we're realizing more and more that we can build something ourselves that solves this problem for these people. However, you have to ask yourself this question: what shall our product bring to the table? First of all, it has to bring you profit. So I'm not telling anyone here that you should be a saint and try to go, and spend your money on other people and everything. Of course, your business has to make profit. You have to create a profitable business model. However, just that on its own is not enough. How does my product make a difference? How is my product ethical? Because that is the only way it can be sustainable. It's also for your own good. This is not the profitability and ethical and making a difference are not mutually exclusive. They go together. In fact, a lot of projects that don't have this, that don't ask themselves these questions of how can I make a difference, when the bear market comes, they don't survive because they follow only the hype. When people are hyped, they buy, they use it, okay? But then when there's no real use, no real utility, no real sense of a difference that this product makes, the bear market comes and 99.2% of projects die. But we don't see that on the internet. We see the 0.8%. So yeah, we asked ourselves these questions, and that is where we decided to build something which can help everyone. We decided to try to clean up the DeFi mess, okay? I wanted to show you this video, but I believe we have no sound. But it's okay, we'll see it without a sound. So this is a little promo video we did. It's okay, it's okay. No, it's fine, it's fine. I'll show it without video, it's fine. This is a little promo video which will go out soon with music. So, huh? What the hell? No, it's not gonna show, is it? Pull over what? No, I can't. Okay. Now I get it. I'll make it large. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, how do I? Bloody YouTube. What the fuck? Oh my god. Yeah. Alright, so there we go. So this is a little promo video. This is the mess that you see right now. Trust Wallet, CoinMarketCap, everything all used together. So I'll let you see it in peace. I've never seen it without music. So how do I get back to the presentation? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So from that, I know it was a very fast video, and with music you lose a bit of the, edge on it. But so yeah, we decided that we want to clean up the mess of tools that exist in the space. We want to remove the clutter. And that is why we started building Sonar Studio. We started indexing the top chains for all the data. We started building features upon the data, building charts, building trend section, building our own wallet, building everything. So now we have a product which has all the charts, which has news, aggregated news. It has an academy for people to learn. It has a fiat to crypto solution integrated, a swap and a bridge integrated. And there's a lot of stuff coming up, including portfolio analytics that you saw the image there. Our wallet is not public yet, but again, once the audits are done, that will go live as well. And the token which powers the whole platform, okay? The token which is catered exactly to the needs of what we're doing. So it's not enough to build a product that people need, that people who either anyone needs, but it's also important to make it accessible. And you make it accessible not just through ease of use or how easy it is to use or how, beautiful it is, not just through UI UX, but also through cost, okay? A lot of products, okay, today, especially in the crypto space, but also in traditional finance, to be honest, are very, very expensive. If you want complex portfolio analytics, you need to pay, last time I checked one, it was like 500 euros a month. Like, how normal people don't pay that for a portfolio analytics app just to follow your assets. So it's not accessible. Even it's a really good product, which I won't get into the name. It's a really good product, but it's not accessible. So a lot of these projects are trying to target just the top 1% of people that can afford this stuff. When in reality, we decided to go the other way. So we're targeting everyone. We're targeting millions of users at a cost of around $10 a month. So there's the free stuff. So the education stuff is free. The charts are free. That stuff will always be free. But as we get into complex portfolio analytics, complex trading tools, complex analysis and stuff, that will be under a paywall of a maximum of $10 a month, more or less. So that is something that even people from these countries, a lot of them, can afford, and by holding the token, they'll actually pay less. So practically, this is something which we're trying to make affordable for everyone to be ready to onboard the next billion users in this space. And when we thought of this idea, we looked at the questions that I mentioned before, and we realized that this is something which can answer all. It can bring us profit. We have all the business models and everything that made sense. It makes a difference because it cleans up the DeFi space, and is ethical because we're building something that is in line with DeFi's promise of banking the unbanked, of financial inclusion. Okay, so that is what I did. I will end this. I said it's going to be short today by saying simply, what can you build? So please continue. If you have something in mind, do it. And if you need any help, any kind of network that I have built in the past years, please ask me for anything. I'm always here. And please always remember that you're not here to compete within that little balloon, that little bubble. But if we actually work together as partners, there's a whole other world outside of that bubble. And we can get rich together rather than against each other. Thank you. That is all for today.
We are a crypto-native community that aims to learn and share knowledge together. Join us at Soho, The Strand, every Wednesday to dive into our questions section live.